Look at this list. These are the most common verbs in English. Be, have, do, say, get, make, go, know, take, see, come, think, look, want, give, tell, put, and a few others. But instead of putting them in a list like this, let's put them on a circle like this. In English, there is a kind of gravitational field, let's call it verb gravity, that pulls you towards the center. You can express almost anything just by using the most common verbs, either on their own or with the addition of a preposition or adverb particle. Yes, I'm talking about phrasal verbs. English is in many ways quite an imprecise language because of this verb gravity. We use words that are good enough, but they don't exactly express what we want. The rest is context. Let me explain what I mean. Let's look at the verb to get. I'm sure you've had many traumas in the class trying to work out all the different meanings of this verb. The verb gravity pulls us towards get to replace other richer verbs, okay? Because it's easy. Get replaces buy. I'm going to get a new car. Get replaces obtain or fetch. I'm going to get my ukulele from upstairs. Get means receive. I got a message. Get means understand. I got it. Get means become. I get tired after making these videos. It's hot. I'm getting thirsty. For any situation where you change position in English, you can use get plus a preposition. Get up, get out, get in, get around. Of course, get having so many meanings can be ambiguous. I'm going to get a coffee. Okay, does that mean you're going to buy a coffee? You're going to obtain a coffee from somewhere? Or are you waiting to receive one? Okay, I don't know, it's possible. Oh, you have to buy a ukulele. I got it. Huh? You got it? Does that mean you understand? Does it mean you bought one already? You received it? It's all context. In English, context is so important. In other languages, you might use different verbs for each of these contexts. Another point is that over time, the verb gravity takes effect and the Neanderthal instincts win out, and we replace one word, say a rich verb, with another one from inside the circle. So for example, we used to say, I rise each morning at 8. Nowadays it's been replaced by get up. I get up each morning. He rose, took his shoes in his hands, turned the key in the door with great caution and crept downstairs. Charles Dickens. I retire at 11 p.m. That's been entirely replaced by I go to bed at 11 p.m. The verb have now also means to eat and to drink. Lunch used to be a verb, but it's rarely used as such these days. Do you want to have lunch with me? Dine is also a verb. Let's dine together. Mrs. Bennet invited him to dine with them, but with many expressions of concern, he confessed himself engaged elsewhere. Nowadays, you probably say to have dinner. Let's have dinner, not to dine. One more example, the verb to see. Does it mean to see? I'm going to see my friend this evening. Yes, you're going to see your friend, but what you really mean is you're going to meet your friend. Just once again, being lazy in our verb choices, the verb gravity, the Neanderthal within pulls us inside of the circle where you find to see rather than to meet, which is outside. In Japanese, you have to say to meet. In many other languages, you have to be precise in your verb choices. So in Japanese, I'm seeing my friend tomorrow. Ashita tomodachi ni aimasu. Okay, you have to use the specific verb meet. Aimasu, not to see. Mimasu, of course, you're going to see them, but you want to say you're going to meet them. You have to be precise in other languages, not in English. So once again, it's fraught with ambiguity. When I woke up, After the operation and opened my eyes, I saw my friends around the bed. Okay, verb to see. After the operation, I went to the pub to see my friends. Okay, there see means to meet. Context is once again key. Other languages are so much more precise than English. Let's move on to phrasal verbs. I've already done several videos explaining everything about different phrasal verbs, how you can use them, how to learn them, and you can find many videos on this subject across YouTube. What is rarely discussed is why English has phrasal verbs, and it's like this. In English, once again, it's the Neanderthal part of us dragging us into the inner circle of verbs. We want to use one of these verbs, but it's not enough to explain everything. So what we do, we add a preposition that gives us more details, such as the direction or other information. However, you don't have to be a Neanderthal. You can choose a normal verb from outside the circle if you want, rather than use a phrasal verb. So you always have this choice in English. And English, of course, is about communication. Every language is about communication. So you just choose what's right for the situation. Okay, but the phrasal verbs are the most common. Let's look at a few of them. Give up means to quit. I've given up smoking. I've quit smoking. Tell off or rebuke. I was told off. I was rebuked for not wearing a mask in the street. To look up to or to admire. You're so brilliant. I look up to you. You're so brilliant. I admire you. We have a very different opinion. Let's talk it over. Let's discuss it. Call off or cancel. The meeting has been cancelled. The meeting has been called off. Give back or return. Please give it back to me. Please return it to me. Bring up or raise. I was raised or I was brought up on a farm. Pick up or retrieve. I had to pick up or retrieve my suitcase from the station. Look into or investigate. We will look into your complaint and let you know. We will investigate your complaint and let you know. Go on or continue. Please go on. Please continue. It's the same. Once again, the verb gravity drags English speakers into the circle, and with the use of phrasal verbs, your expression is almost unlimited. Let's look at some phrasal verbs with take. I took down the book from the shelf. I took out €5 from my pocket. I took in the shopping from the car. I took back the book from the library. In English, you use one verb, take, and that describes the manner that you do this, and then a preposition for the direction. Whereas in Spanish, for example, you would use 4 different verbs, one for each situation. Bajé el libro del estante. Saqué €5 de mi bolsillo. Recoge las compras del coche. Devolví el libro a la biblioteca. Spanish and other languages use 4 different verbs. What we see is that English can be quite a lazy language. We're using the same verbs all the time. Frankly, sometimes it can be boring and vague. However, here's the thing. This imprecision is both a disadvantage and an advantage. It gives you a lot of options. So you can say, I'm going to pick up my luggage from the station, or I'm going to retrieve my luggage from the station. There is often a nuance in terms of formality or cadence. In English, the ability to play with different registers and knowing which one to use at which time is another weapon in your armory. That's how the English speaker's brain works. The default is the inner circle of verbs. This is our Neanderthal part. However, there is another part of our brain too, the smart part that doesn't limit itself to such a narrow subset of terms, one that ventures beyond the circle to seek out the right verb, the clever part of us that knows instinctively when to use tell off and when to use rebuke, when to use look into and when to use investigate. Many native speakers never do this. They remain always within the comfort zone, just using the same basic verbs all the time. Get, do, take, put. I'm not saying it's a good way of speaking or a bad way of speaking. I'm just saying that because you're a native speaker, it doesn't guarantee mastery. It doesn't give you a lifetime pass to the magic kingdom. Communication skills are something that are learnt and not bestowed upon at birth. And you are coming from a place with a different linguistic perspective, and this can be an advantage. Of course, it's good to learn idiomatic English. On this channel we have lots of videos about idioms and phrasal verbs, but there is more to a language than that. Don't be intimidated by those who put you down because you're not a native speaker. You'll never be as good as us. No, it's not true. If you're British, American, Australian, Chinese, Portuguese, whatever, you need the strength and the wherewithal to succeed on your own terms and in your own skin, and not be straitjacketed by absurd notions that speaking like a native speaker is the dream to aspire to. The goal is always the same: to delight your listeners with sparkling conversation, to enthrall them with your immense talent and wit, and have a positive impact on their lives. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. Stay healthy and see you soon. Bye.